What's up, everybody? It's Danny Green here with my guy and co-host Harrison Sanford. This is Inside the Green Room on NBC Sports Philadelphia. We are excited to welcome the one and only Daryl Morey on the show today. Let's jump in.
What's good? I'm Harrison Sanford. That's Danny Green, and this is Inside the Green Room with Danny Green, now on NBC Sports Philadelphia. Welcome in to our new audience who's going to follow us throughout the entirety of the season. For those of you who have not been watching or listening to the show, Danny and I have known each other for about 15 years. We've been doing this show for 2 years straight now. We all know Danny was involved in some potential trade rumors. We're going to talk about that with Daryl Morey later on in the show. But first and foremost, Danny, I know you're happy to stay on the team, but as Daryl's going to allude to, sometimes when you get talent in, you got to send talent out. I know you're disappointed, in a sense at least, to see Tony Bradley no longer on the team.
Yeah, I'm disappointed to see all those guys go. They were all, my guys. I had a good relationship with Ferg, ASAP, and Vince, and especially Tony, because he's a UNC guy, Carolina guy, sat next to me on the plane, and I got to learn a lot more about him. And he was also balling, man. He worked his tail off to get in great shape and, find a rhythm and, be a big key for our success while Joel has been out. So I was happy for him that he's playing well. And I said, I know trades midseason is always not the greatest time. It's disappointing. It sucks. So I was kind of upset and disappointed for him at the same time, but I'm going to miss him.
Speaking of UNC ties, I saw the latest news about your endowment or your scholarship that you gave away to the University of North Carolina. Just wanted to know if a brother can hold something real quick.
I mean, I've gotten that text and that call every other day, man. Can I hold something? Yeah, a lot of it's going to the school, man. I'm sorry. But no, it was an easy deal. It was an easy decision to make. And it's not something that people think that I'm giving in one lump sum. This is over time. It's not like I'm giving away that much money in one check. But it's a scholarship thing that I'm very passionate about. I love giving back to the community. Obviously, kids who are disadvantaged coming from the areas that we've come from, and give them some type of resource or some type of outlet or some type of chance to be able to attend schools out of state or a university like North Carolina, Chapel Hill. So yeah, man, it's a great cause, and hopefully each year it gets better and better, and hopefully I get a part of the process each year.
Well, all the places that you've played, Danny, you've also given back to. And so now that you're playing in Philadelphia, I expect that you'll be giving back to that community as well, especially as we can hopefully get back to some normalcy and things opening up and we can be out in the community like we've been out in other places where we've done the show and where you've played. Part of the reason why you'll be in the community, because you stayed past the trading deadline. It was no surprise, at least to some, that your name was in some trading rumors, but you're here and Daryl Morey is going to talk to us about it when we come back. This is Inside the Green Room.
What's up, everybody? It's Danny Green here, back with more Inside the Green Room. My co-host, Harrison Sanford, one and only Daryl Morey. Daryl, welcome to the show, man. It's a pleasure. It's an honor, man. Thank you for taking the time out to be on. Before we start, I want to thank you for keeping me on the team after the deadline. And two, I wanted to ask, how much did my ring night come into play when it came to the deadline, the trade deadline? How much did you think about me getting my ring before it went down and decided to keep me?
Not your ring night, but we for sure talked about the fact that you've won the last two.
Okay.
And, we're trying to rub that off on the Sixers here. And no, I honestly, that is a big thing. I think, players like yourself, it's not an accident that the teams they're on win all the time.
But I know the ring night didn't come into play, but I appreciate you guys keeping me. I'm glad I got a chance to get my ring. I appreciate that you guys think that I can help the team and getting it the ring.
I didn't even get what you're saying. So you're right. So if the trade deadline had happened, you would have had to wait longer for your ring.
I wouldn't have got it. I would have probably waited a whole other year.
What if you got into a different team? It might have taken a whole nother year. Oh my God.
Yep,
exactly. So
I was thinking the whole deadline. The whole deadline. That's all we talked about. How do we make sure? How do we make sure that doesn't happen? People told me that you thought you were getting traded yesterday. And I want to ask if that's the case, because the reality is I would have given you a heads up. Like that is something, there are times when it's hard. Like a team calls like 3 minutes for the deadline and like shocks you and like whatever, it comes together late, but those are pretty rare. Like I would have given you a heads up if it had gotten close, But I'm actually curious if you went into the day feeling like, okay, oh my goodness, it's
I feel like
happening.
I forgot that you weren't on this trip. Thank you for taking time out. You're on the East Coast right now. It's late
Of course,
there.
yeah.
But you weren't on this trip, so I didn't see you. You weren't around. Most of you guys weren't around.
All of us were here, yeah.
Yeah. So I got, just my agent, people talking heads up. I thought it was a possibility it would happen. So I wasn't sure. I figured you might, but sometimes it might not happen. So many things happen so fast. And like Doc was saying, during these times, it's almost impossible to get to a player first before the media gets it, before it gets out.
With Woj and everything. It's hard at times, but there have been times I haven't been able to, and I hate when that happens. But I would have liked to have told you early, and I hate that you went through that. So
I wasn't stressed. I wasn't frustrated. I felt very comfortable where we were. I didn't think we were going to make any major changes. Because we are doing pretty well. That's why if I was really frustrated or stressed, I think you would have seen it in my play in Golden State game or in the Lakers game. So I wasn't really. I just like whatever happens happens. But I think we're in a good spot. I think we're going to hang on to most people. I think a lot of us just talked, but.
Well, that's a big factor people don't get. Like, I mean, when you're number one in the East and playing at a very high level, a trade requires people to go out, not just in.
Speaking of Danny getting his ring, there's a chance now that he couldn't get a ring with Philadelphia, and part of that was due to the trade that was made at the trading deadline, getting George Hill, one of Danny's former teammates. Daryl, how much did you factor in what George can do, and at the same time, maybe some connective fiber that he can give to the team in terms of being a leader, maybe knowing Danny? Did you factor any of that in when you made that decision?
Yeah, big time. I mean, I think George is like Danny. He's like just a proven guy in this league, and we were mostly worried about his health, which looks like it's going to be in a good place after a little time here. Guys who have like been through the wars, and George, hopefully again, Danny will take this as a compliment. We've got like three studs. We got Tobias, we got, Ben and Joel. And when you're looking for those guys to fit in, guys like Danny and George, I think are just invaluable. Like ones who can play both ends, who give the team what they want. Not, they're just focused on one thing, which is winning. And one thing I love about the team, and I'd be curious if Danny agrees with me, because I've had teams with a lot of young players and whatever. This is one of the first ones with a mix where everyone's just focused on winning. And I think it's because, the young, like most of the guys who are farther in their career have already been paid. So they're not like nervous about it. And then the guys we've added like Danny and George, they've done everything in their career. And they know at this point, like it's just about winning. And so we don't have a lot of the, I've had teams where guys were on their rookie scale deal and they're nervous or, they're going to get a lot, or they're in their last year of free agency. This year, it's like everyone's just focused on one thing.
But the analytics, I see, Daryl, you're very excited about. Obviously, you love it. I had a question about that for you.
Yeah, I'm ready.
I know that you're in full support of it. How do you continue to keep, how do you continue to grow enthusiasm for it, but still keep your secrets close to vest, like close to the chest?
Yeah, it's hard. Yeah, because, all the teams are competing, right? So anytime, one team's doing something that's working, everyone copies. And I think, Danny's been in the league long enough. I mean, whether it's even plays on the floor, like all of a sudden everyone's running elevator doors. All of a sudden everyone's running double drag. Like, because, the coaches are smart and the players are smart. Everyone's going to copy from each other. And that's true with using data to help make decisions as well. And so a lot of the big low-hanging fruit that were there, that Danny's seen the transformation over his career in terms of three-point shooting. That's been one of the real obvious ones that have been out there. And over time, like each of those things, each advantage is getting smaller and smaller. And it is hard to stay ahead. And the teams are run very well. And Danny's been on some of the best run teams in the league with Toronto and San Antonio, top of mind. And so, he sees, we're all like learning and chasing each other. And unfortunately, that's why it's pretty tough to win in this league. And, but I figured I'd do the one analytic, which is, teams that Danny's on win at a pretty high percentage. So.
Appreciate that. I appreciate that.
We got to go to break, but when we come back, I want to tap into some of the more artistic flair of Daryl Morey and something that he produced back in his time in Houston. We'll discuss that when we get back with more Inside the Green Room. Be right back.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to more Inside the Green Room. I have Daryl Morey here, of course, Harrison Sanford, and myself. I know Daryl wanted to ask a question, but before we get to your question, Daryl, I have a question. Obviously, new technology is getting used more and more in our game. How do you see the NBA Top Shot changing the collectible industry?
Yeah, I think it's changing everything. And people are a little confused by what Top Shot is, or you've heard non-fungible tokens, NFTs, or Ethereum, or blockchain. People are very confused by it, but I think you can break it down pretty simple. People know what barcodes are. So really all these non-fungible tokens are if you could put a barcode on anything, literally anything, and no one could copy it. It could only go on one thing. That's really all it is. That's the entire, and it's stored online. And so Top Shot is like they take these moments and they put a barcode on it and they say you own a unique version of that. And this year you did your thing, went down the lane. You had played with Dwight last year.
Yeah.
Lefty lob to a dunk, and literally had the exact same play in the NBA Finals, if you recall. And that's one of the Top Shot moments. So I grabbed it and tweeted about it. I said, this is the same exact shot that happened. So
Nice. So if you had to choose, what would be our top shot of the season?
Oh, that's great. Actually, we've had some moments.
I have one in mind, but there are a bunch. There's a lot of moments, but I wonder what yours is.
Probably Joel's 3 to send it to overtime for Utah. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I do like that one. It was that one or the Tobias game winner over the Lakers at home. That was my other
awesome
one.
All right, Daryl, I know you're somebody who's always looking at the game, looking for improvements. And there's something that's grown to kind of frustrate me. And I wonder if it might frustrate Danny as well. The trade for George Hill is going to give you guys another two-way player, somebody who can play defense, get his hands in passing lanes, help force shot clock violations. I haven't looked at the stat yet, but you guys have forced a lot of shot clock violations this year. And when you do, for whatever reason, the NBA mandates that a lot of times you end up inbounding the ball as opposed to getting that missed air ball and getting that fast break opportunity. I've seen it happen so many times, and I feel like it's almost punishment for forcing an air ball or that shot clock violation that came via air ball. You inbound and now you're playing against a half court defense. How do we fix this? And is there anything else that you really would want to change?
If you turn me on the NBA rules, I may never stop. So Danny's been in the league. I love that I'm talking to Danny. He's been in the league long enough. About 5 years ago or 6 years ago, they actually changed it. Not all the way. And they didn't actually write a rule. They just told the refs to interpret it. And they were letting teams go more. And it's like a judgment call for the referee. And they were saying, let it go. And then for some reason they flipped. And now it's back to what you said, which is like, punishing the team that gets the violation. They should let it go way more often. I could go forever on, all the messed up rules. Do you relish the extra breaks we get with all the reviews and everything, or would you rather have it just
sometimes, but rather just let it keep playing. Sometimes it does help when we're getting up and down quite a bit, but I think a lot of guys rather just keep playing.
One nice rule that's just a real simple one that you played with under FIBA is that you can only call timeouts when the ball's already dead. Like the fact that we can call timeouts under live play if you control the ball, I don't love in the NBA. I'd prefer that the action would just go back and forth until there's a dead ball, and then you can add a timeout to it.
We do have to put some of this content. It's probably going to end up on NBCSportsPhiladelphia.com and in our podcast feed because I know you guys can continue to go on forever about it. And I do want to make sure we talk about your interest in the arts. We did a little bit of background research, and I heard you gave Danny a piece of cinematic content that he was supposed to look up. So when we come back, I watched it,
but I didn't watch all of it, but I watched.
Danny, can I apply the tease, please? Can I tease to the next segment?
Yes, you can.
Thank you. All right. When we come back with Inside the Green Room, we'll discuss that, and then we'll take it home. We'll be right back.
I have a question I love to hear the answer to because it's always different and interesting to me. especially from folks who had to fight for it a little more. And you had to fight for it more. Like you should have been picked higher in the draft. You should have made the NBA right out of school and probably gotten a role, but you didn't. And there's a lot of guys who have that story. But when did you feel like, hey, I may make it here. This may be a long career.
I thought I could make it like junior year in college, but then I didn't know I could stick. I didn't think I could stick until I got to San Antonio, probably my second or third year, when I cracked the rotation and started starting. But Pop never let anybody feel like they were comfortable or safe. Everybody was on eggshells, and that's how you got everybody to play hard and do their job to the fullest, because at any given moment, somebody could take your spot or your minutes will be gone. So you have to keep working and stay hungry. But I would say probably after that 2013 finals, I felt like I could have a pretty decent career. I didn't think 20 years, but I thought like, all right, this should have helped me stay another 5 years at least. But so being in San Antonio, he never let us feel comfortable. But going to the finals and going back, twice, maybe the year before that, I felt like, all right, I could, I cracked the rotation. Now I could stick in the league for a good number of years.
I was about to say, it was going to take you 27 threes in the finals to make you feel comfortable.
Hey, if you know Pop, that still ain't enough. So yeah.
I have to say, you and Ferk are my favorite because you'll just let it go, man. You're open, let that thing go, man. It's I love it.
I love Ferk too, man. He's one of my favorites too.
I knew about Danny's camps. True or false? You guys discovered Tobias Harris at a Danny Green camp. Is that accurate?
I wouldn't say we discovered him. Tobias, I've known Tobias since he was young, and he's a lot younger. I wouldn't say a lot younger, but he's younger than me. But I watched him grow up. When I was older, he was younger, and I used to referee when I was younger too. So I know some of my uncles, my dads, and I would referee some of the games, the younger kids' games. Him, his brothers, and they would be in the town, playing youth league games. So. But he never went to any one of my, I don't think he did. He went to any one of my camps. Maybe his younger brothers did. But he was not discovered at my camps. But yes, I watched Tobias grow up. I did, when he was young, maybe referee. My uncle's my referee at a game or so. But he was not at any one of my camps. He never attended one of my camps.
Speaking of Tobias, are you as impressive as I am? And he reminds me of some players I've had in the past who, like, he's like elevated his game like every year in the league. And like he said, and I sort of in jest on Twitter last night, Tobias does come it's like every night you're like, what you're getting, and it's good. And it's very rare in this league because it's hard because people guard you different. They'll put different defenders on you.
82 games, man. He's a machine. And I said, he's impressed me a ton this year. And I was really disappointed for him, the fact that he didn't get what he deserved, and that's being an all-star, because he was an all-star for us and in this league. And the reason why we've stayed above water and won games without Joel, without Ben, and without other guys, playing and being hurt, Seth, is because of 12. Daryl, you sent this to me. I got a chance to watch some of it, not all of it. It was interesting to me. Somebody told me about it, brought it to my attention, and I was very intrigued. I did not know that you produced a musical in Houston called Small Ball. And, it was like a play, and people, you had the team go there and check it out. What was your most favorite part about that process of doing that?
Putting together winners is the things I've built my life on. But when I'm around NBA players, I'm like, I played basketball in high school, but I'm basically like, oh my God, they're like a million times better. It's amazing to watch them. And when I got to work with some of these really talented artists and, that waste their time with my ideas and stuff, like, it was just an amazing thing to see how they work. Just like, you hosting us tonight. I mean, like, when I see people who love their craft and are really good at it, that's when I get excited. I love to see the passion.
Daryl, I know you asked Danny how long did he plan in staying in the league, and before we head out here, Danny's been doing a lot outside of just basketball, but he's been doing things involved with basketball. For example, the show, and then he also him and some other childhood friends put together high school basketball tournaments or high school basketball showcases. And so I participated as a volunteer for one back in 2019, I think it was, Danny, the Battle in the Apple in Madison Square Garden. A bunch of high school teams coming from all over the country to play. And they got a recording artist, Sheck West, to perform right after the dunk contest, I believe. And I remember, I'm Danny's friend, so I'll help out any causes that he's doing, but I had to help fill out the rider for Sheck West. And the rider consisted of, the things that they have in their room, their VIP room before they perform. I had to go out there and get 20 bags of M&Ms. I had to get paper towels and all of these random things. And you know how these artists do sometimes. They just have a lot of things that you have to get before they perform. There are some other things I had to purchase that cannot be put on air as well. I'm wondering if you were to have a big performance, let's say you were going to be on stage for a small ball, or maybe you were getting prepared for an NBA Finals game as an executive, what would be on your rider?
So if I'm about to perform and go on stage and rap, then, obviously I'm going to do a lot of junk food, sweets, maybe some sandwiches, cookies. The M&Ms might be a big hit. But yeah, things will get me in my zone, whatever it is, listening to some other music, listening to some certain types of, or watching some shows or watch whatever it may be to get me in that zone. But I definitely am a junk food, sweets type of guy. I've been trying to cut back. It's gone okay, but it's not great. But yes, I'm a big junk food, sweets type of guy.
So we're going with M&Ms.
Yes, I'm with M&Ms.
Okay, thank you.
I sadly would. Does Chick-fil-A count? Can I go
For
with
sure.
Chick-fil-A?
For sure.
Okay. Sadly I qualified for the vaccine sooner than I should because they got the BMI one, which is a nice one to say if you divide your height by your weight, it's not a good number. So yeah. So
did not know about that.
Yeah. Well, you qualified too, Danny. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know if you got it yet. Did you get it yet?
Soon. They're setting me up. As soon as we get back, I'm getting vaccinated, man.
I think most of the team, which is good. Make sure we're guarded for the playoffs. So.
Yes. And on that note, we definitely wish everybody who's tuning in or listening, be healthy, stay safe, wear your mask. The faster you wear your mask, get a vaccine shot if you can, the faster we can all go back to potentially celebrating in Wells Fargo Center. Daryl, I want to thank you for your time. DJ, you know what time it is.
Yes, sir.
We'll see you guys next for another episode of Inside the Green Room right here on NBC Sports Philadelphia. Any last words, Danny?
Read, rate, subscribe, review, all the good stuff, man. Daryl, once again, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate you.